morning everyone. I'm Dr. Kiran Deshwal. In this video lecture, I will teach you the novel Azadi composed by Chaman Nahal. We have finished first chapter and today we will begin with the second chapter. Let us start. So the conversation is taking place between Prabharani and Lala Kasiram. There is no entry of other characters of the story yet. Prabharani had almost finished cooking. As we know that there will be a telecast regarding the freedom and partition of India, so she is eager to hear that radio broadcast. Prabharani had almost finished cooking. It was early, but the broadcast was to be at 7 and she wanted to be done before Lala Kasiram came home. The broadcast will be there at 7 o'clock in the evening, but she finishes her work very early because she is very eager and she wants to finish every work before Lala Kasiram comes to home. It was a very hot evening. It is summer time. We know that June in India remains very hot, and it was a very hot evening. She was squatting in the smoke-filled kitchen and was wiping the sweat off her face with a towel. So she is cooking food, and usually when you works in a kitchen, there is sweat on your face. She removed the lid of the large pan in which was boiling the main meal of the day. Taking a big spoon, she stirred the stew and lifting some of the green beans she was cooking, she pressed them with her fingers to see if they were soft enough for her husband's mouth. So she is examining the food cooked by her. Lala Kasiram got wild with her unless she served him. Lala Kasiram got wild with her unless she served him tender stuff. He had bad teeth, and as the molars failed to crush the vegetables, he jumped with pain, and his hands sought towards his face in defense of his shattered root canals. And since the food was still in the hollow of his mouth, he couldn't exactly shout at Prabharani. So this is very funny situation. Now, having a toothache, he is unable to chew the food properly. That's why Prabharani makes sure that the food should be shoved for her husband. But had not she done him a bad turn again, the moment he had finished swallowing, going through all kind of grimaces, he took off after her, and it was hours before he was calm again. Prabharani could see the beans were really soft, and giving the stew one final boil, she removed the pan from the stove and placed it on the one side. Hurriedly, she now started rolling the chapatis. She heard movements in the adjoining kitchen where Ishar Kaur was cooking her meal. Prabharani shouted, "Nee, Ishar Kaurai, what are you making?" So it is natural. Neighborhood woman takes information. What are you cooking today? What are you cooking today? So it is their time pass. Nothing much, Chachi ji. I'm only making bhurta. Punjabis makes bhurta. Usually they like bhurta. Uh, that is बैंगन का भरता भी से. Prabharani envied her for the simplicity of a man. This is also happen. Women are jealous. If someone's husband demands delicious food, she is jealous with the woman whose husband likes simple food, because that woman doesn't have to do any hard work on cooking. Who would be satisfied with brinjals as the chief dish? You are kismat wali, Sarkar, fortunate. Your chacha won't sit in the kitchen unless I can give him something with gravy. Lala Kasiram likes gravy, and that's why Prabharani has to work hard. She can't just satisfy him with bangan ka bhurta, and then there has to be rice with every meal and a sweet dish too. So Lala Kasiram likes the rich dish because he is a grain merchant. After all, his income is higher. At heart she was happy her Lalaji was so sophisticated. Yes, I know how fussy Chachaji is, Isar Kaur replied with a laugh, her ringing voice coming clean through the brick partition that separated the two kitchens. Prabha Rani also laughed, and the noise of utensils in the kitchens continued. There was a difference of about 25 years between the two women. Isar Kaur could as well have been Prabha Rani's daughter. That was the reason why Isar Kaur always addressed her respectfully as Chachi ji or Auntie, and Lala Kasiram as Chacha ji, the masculine derivative of Chacha ji, Punjabi again. The two families had been living in this house for many years. The girl had grown into maturity here, was married off here, and here it was she and her husband had come back to live. She had lost her mother when she was only a child, but she had a grandfather still alive, a tall, very handsome Sikh, who at the age of 80 stood straight like an arrow, and who still told you stories about women with a gleam in his eye. Then she had her father, Sardar Teja Singh, who had inherited the good looks of his father, if not his height and manly bearing. After Isar Kaur got married, the family asked her husband, Sardar Niranjan Singh, if he would make a permanent home with them. Niranjan Singh made a living selling odd things as a vendor. He had a small cart which he pushed from street to street. Now he could join his wife's family business of dry fruits, and he jumped at the opportunity. What the family wanted was a woman in the house to take care of them. So this is the simple story of this Sikh family, where they are they are very simple, and they just want a woman so that she can help them out in household chores, who can take care of the males, and that's all. So the neighborhood of Lala Kasiram in neighborhood of Lala Kasiram lives simple man. Here we can here we can say that Lala Kasiram and his wife Prabha Rani are cosmopolitan, as they take care of everyone, and it is the custom and tradition of India that people live in harmony with each other. The writer is describing these events to show us that before partition people were happy. Even they are Sikh, Isai, and Muslim, all of them were living together in harmony. There was affection, there was familiar bonds between them. They were friends, not enemies. But the announcement, which will take place at 7 in the evening, will create a schism among them, which students, if you remember, which you will read in next year in the story Roots, composed by Ismat Chugtai, having the partition theme. So it happened at that time. India was under the British rule, and the policy of British government, the policy of divide and rule, divided the people of India, who never thought themselves separate from each other, different from each other. They were different, but they considered themselves Indians and brothers. So what happens next, we will see in our next video. Thanks for watching.